healthy vegan and author. I heard a couple of stories last week that really broke my heart on many levels. And both were about a mother and her baby, and both proved just how loving other animals are. So the first story happened here in New Zealand when an adult humpback whale and her baby got stranded on a beach up in the northern part of New Zealand. The mother and her calf were found on the Sunday morning, and the people who found them said that they were making booming noises. So, one that leads one to believe that they were communicating. Now, the people from Project Jonah and our Department of Conservation and local volunteers, they kept a vigil and helped to keep water on them, etc. But the efforts to refloat them during the high tide that evening failed. Now, sadly, the calf died on the following morning. They had 2 attempts to get the mother floated. Both of them failed, even though the water was right up around her from the deep trenches that diggers had made. It was like she didn't want to go. She soon began to lose her fight, almost like she lost the will to live, and it was decided that she would be euthanized, which duly happened. Now, this was a decision that wasn't taken lightly, but the thought was that even if she did get refloated and get out, there was a very good chance that she'd come back looking for her baby. So I do wonder what happened there. I mean, was the baby or the mother sick, either one of them sick? Had they lost their ability to use their sonar? Was there heavy shipping traffic? Apparently there was another whale sighted just offshore at the start of this tragedy, but that one didn't beach anywhere. So were these two part of an extended family? Did the baby get into trouble and the mother beach herself to be with her child? I mean, we can only surmise what happened there. Now, at around the same time, another story surfaced that an orca had been sighted pushing her dead baby's body for over 10 days, which now has been over 2 weeks, and she's still doing it. So this orca is from a dwindling pod whose calves over the past 3 years have been stillborns. And this calf was the first recorded live birth since 2015. The calf was born near the San Juan Islands in Washington State, but died just 30 minutes later. So, I mean, can you imagine how the mother would have had a few brief moments of sheer happiness, then followed by utter sadness when her baby died? And there's every possibility she has had maybe 2 other babies die in the last 3 years. So it's no wonder she doesn't want to relinquish it. That mother has swum over 1,000 miles carrying her baby. Now, it also appears that others in the pod have helped the mother by taking over the carrying to give her some respite, which kind of seems to say that this is a whole family in mourning. So I'm wondering whether this particular pod, if they have a sense that their family is dying out, and that's why this calf was so special. There is really no future for them. The salmon that they feed on is dwindling, and the pollution and shipping traffic, it makes their whole world is on the brink of collapse. Now, these 2 stories loudly demonstrate that animals have feelings, that they can grieve and show emotion and communicate just like humans do. But it's not restricted to sea life. We see the same thing with land animals, but only those animals we deem to be worthy. Only the animals we think are wonderful enough to have emotions like dogs and cats, elephants, gorillas, monkeys. So scientists warn us not to put human emotions onto animals, and they're right in a way, but it has been shown so many times that animals do have certain reactions to different scenarios that could be construed as emotion. Cows that have been cooped up in a barn all winter show displays of excitement and pleasure when they leave the barn and go leaping and bounding outside in their freedom. In fact, all animals display that type of emotion at being free after being enclosed. So with the orca, we see the mother's grief, and the humpback, the protection of her baby, and it pulls at our heartstrings. But sadly, the animals we eat are not deemed worthy of our heartstrings. We forget about the dairy cow whose baby is taken away from her 24 hours after it's born. She doesn't have the option to grieve like the orca. She's straight back in that milking shed. She doesn't have the option to try and save her baby like the humpback. But she still shows emotion and still calls to her calf and, runs after the tractor. And the same goes for pigs. When they, when they're freed, they just show such excitement and exuberance. But you look into the eyes of the mother pig who is in a farrowing crate, who can't look after her babies in the natural way. Is that sadness? And when animals are herded into trucks, is it fear that we see in their eyes? Whether we should or shouldn't put human emotions onto animals is neither here nor there. We have no right to pick and choose which ones get our love and which ones don't. All animals deserve respect, dignity, and compassion, all of them. Oh, and here's a PS on the orca story. Now, as I said, this particular pod is starving because of the Chinook salmon depletion. So local members of Congress are working to help these endangered orcas by getting them to have more access to the salmon. The US Senate committee has approved a bill that clears the way for tribal and government fish managers to, wait for it, kill sea lions along the Columbia River. So currently there is a quota to kill per year 100 of these sea lions. Well, they're thinking of raising that to about 1,000. These sea lions kill about a quarter of the salmon population. So who's killing the rest? What about we try humans overfishing? If we stop that, the orca population would recover and keep a natural balance in the area. All these animals have emotions. All these animals have that sense of that sense of freedom and well-being. Go vegan. It will help all the animals. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Remember, have great food, make it plant-based, and be compassionate to all animals, including humans. Bye for now.